is not the Christ method. What was the Christ method of conversion? After ministering to their needs, he bids them, follow me after that. So over time, we changed that mission to be a mission of speaking and speaking and speaking. And when we started the week, I emphasized and said, the day no one can see the Christ you're speaking about, that mission is a failed mission. So I said a community can only be transformed when the Christ that we speak about can be seen on us. Let's read one verse and we go home. Matthew 25. Matthew 25 verse 35. The Lord's song in service.
Matthew 25:35 says,
yes.
For I was an hunger,
when I was in hunger,
and ye gave me meat.
You gave me meat.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink.
I was thirsty, and you gave me water.
I was a stranger, and you took me in.
I was a stranger, and you just go up to 40.
Naked, and ye clothed me.
And naked, and you clothed me.
I was sick, and ye visited me.
Yes.
I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
Yes.
Then shall the righteous answer him, saying,
Lord,
when saw we thee an hunger?
How are you hungry and we fed you?
Fed thee?
Yes.
Or thirsty and gave thee drink?
Yes.
When saw we thee a stranger?
Yes.
And took thee in?
Yes.
Or naked and clothed thee?
Yes.
Or when did thee sick?
Yes.
Or in prison and came unto thee?
Yes.
And the king answer
and say, the king shall answer and says,
Verily I say unto you,
verily I say unto you,
inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least,
if you do it to one of the least of the community, you have done to me. It therefore means a service to the vulnerable is a service to God, according to that statement. That when we were hungry, you fed me. The king is telling the Israel's chosen ones that I am choosing you to join my kingdom. If you read from 25 coming downwards, that I am choosing you to join my kingdom, be one. That when I was hungry, you fed me. But you did not feed me directly. You fed me through the poor that was among you. When I was naked, you clothed me. You did not clothe me directly, clothed me for the least of what you expected. That when I was in prison, you visited me. When I was sick, you stood by me. Now end my kingdom, the righteous one, because of what you've done to the least of your community. I'm saying a community can be transformed by a service of God's people. That in every situation that God has put us, we can have a service to God that can save people. How I wish some people can say that the chief that was brought into this area brought this transformation that we saw God. It was not a chief that brings thorax. It was not a chief that brings division. It was a chief that was concerned with the wellness of the community. That through his service of being a chief, many saw Christ through him. That he was concerned of families. That the lawyer that was brought into this city, the lawyer that came in, we've never seen a lawyer like this. For when he came, he fought for the vulnerable. When he came, he defended the rights of the poor. That people speaketh of your service of that. In fact, I dare say that our service are inclined to income. Do you know that? That our service are inclined to income. That we are more concerned with income that we earn more than whatever impact that we create. Therefore, diluting the purpose that God has put us in that service. I look for a time, friends, when people will say, they hear that that elder was an elder. There was a transformation in that church because of its service. I look for time when because of your deaconry work, many came to God through your work. That is the day that widows were remembered in the church because of your service in it. That because of you being a teacher, young souls were prepared for the kingdom. Because of you being a teacher, people knew that actually there is science, but there is God. Children knew that for them to grow, the fear of God is the beginning of all I look for the time when the Lord's song will be sung in your service. The more I look for a time when God will lift you and you become the best MC of all events, that people want to have you in the event. And they're saying, my wedding must be MC'd by this guy. But he can't MC it on a Sabbath. So what do? Let us change the event to a Sunday. I look for that. That my service of whatever God has put me through, lift God's name. Let me give you a good example. Last year, for those who can remember, a prominent person died in Mombasa. If that was a normal person, the death would have been incriminated somewhere in some Hindu thing and died. I happened in Mombasa at that time. I saw men and women lining on the road. I saw people taking pictures. I saw people crying. In fact, some were saying, I have the clip I can show you, this was like our God. Do you remember that man? Do you remember people lining from Pandya Hospital to everywhere he was? Why were people lining? The service that he gave to humanity. That when people were angry, he saw an opportunity to serve them. That when there was no water, he saw an opportunity to serve. When Kibarani was Kibani, he saw an opportunity to bring environment clean. When things were bad, his service came in. How I wish that was a Seventh-day Adventist. People would have said, I want to be like these people because of their service. You know, there are certain people, by the way, that underestimate the service that God has put to them. You know, we had someone in high school who used to do for us the fence. Jamaa alikuwa anakata fence hadi achore jule na hiyo fence amekata. We would admire how things were done. After we had left high school at some point, and all of us left campus, and we reached an organization that wanted people. One of us said in the group and said, my organization wants someone that can do landscaping. Does anybody have the number of so-and-so that used to do it in our school? Because the guy was good. In his service, it was a blessing to others. Let me ask you, boss. You're singing in choir. It's a service to God. God bless you. But are you singing of God's song in that service? Does your dedication in choir bring others who doesn't even know how to sing to say, Ebu, try this voice of mine if you cannot just sing? Your dedication to deaconry just bring others and say, I want to serve the way this man serves. God has not put us as youth as this time to be youths. Because the Bible says in the book of Psalms, I think it's 90, when the Bible says, teach us to number days, so that we may apply our arts unto wisdom. For ujana ni moshi inapita. So when you're a youth as a time like this, the question you should ask is that what service am I doing unto God? And in the service that I am doing, am I lifting the name of God, that service?